next one, well, we have the sacral. The sacral center, so just above the root, which, sacral energy is basically the main and most consistent life force and life energy and really vital energy that people have access to. And in this case, you and I, we both have it undefined, which is why we're both projectors. And we talk often about the challenges of the open sacral and the lack of consistent vitality. And really, it's not that we don't have energy, it's that you never know when you're going to have it. It's highly inconsistent, basically. And so there's a kind of a... and again, we're talking about both our openness here. We can talk about the defined sacral after, but there's a certain, I don't know if it's insecurity or even anxiety around it. It's like, especially when you have energy, you know that it's not gonna last. And so you have a window and you need to capitalize on it, basically. And so, we talk about it so often, but still I want to hear more of your experience, basically, with this open sacral.
Well, for sure. It's this thing that it's very difficult to make plans even with people sometimes, because you might have energy today in the morning and they tell you, hey, let's do this plan tomorrow in the afternoon. I don't know how I'm going to feel tomorrow in the afternoon, if I'm going to have the energy to go to this place and interact socially with all these people and so on and so forth. So for sure it takes a little bit of pacing and planning to try to fit into the, let's say, the normal rhythms of life. Because sometimes you can also pace yourself and rest and take a nap that afternoon and just know that whatever energy you have to save it for that one thing during the day. And we always make jokes, like we can only work for like 2 or 3 hours and then we need a nap afterward or something like that. But that's kind of like how the sacral works.
Yeah.
It also can be influenced not only by other people around, but also the transits of whatever is happening during that time. And maybe you have a whole week that you had energy consistently for the whole day. You could work the whole day and that was like perfect. But then afterwards that goes away. So yeah, you have to capitalize on it. So it takes a little bit of experience and mastery when you have an undefined sacral to learn how to ride those waves.
Yeah.
What's your experience though with being around people that have the sacral defined though?
Well, especially us having it open, we feel it immediately, and so basically anyone who has a defined sacral is going to be one of the two types of generators, either generator or manifesting generator. And so we feel the pressure from them. We feel that they are sacral beings, but besides our relationship to them, for them, life is all about how they spend that energy, basically. We're talking about the open root and a certain pressure from it. Well, with the sacral energy that they have access to, basically, it's every day how they're going to spend that energy. And for them, I really notice, like, they get drained when they do the wrong thing. Yes, they usually go into burnout when they're really doing something or doing that thing in a way which is not really right for them. But once they really, really learn to spend their energy correctly, to spend their energy into what makes them truly fulfilled and happy, they even get energized by it. It's interesting. It's like the more they do, the more they get, in a way. It's like a kind of like this flow, which happens basically in this way.
So basically, what's the most important thing about the defined sacral is finding the correct thing to do.
Yeah.
That's kind of it. But going back to the undefined sacral, can you tell us a bit more on how to surf those waves that come and go?
Yeah. Well, you give it right there, the analogy of the surfer. It's something that I like repeating in the readings, especially with non-sacral beings, whether it's especially projectors, but also manifestors. And reflectors is a bit of a different story. But yeah, it's basically about becoming real, because we are here to master energy. We are here to master sacral energy, really. We're meant to become very, very good at riding those waves and using this energy in the best possible way and even channeling this energy. So the best analogy really is this analogy of the surfer, in which, if you go surfing, actually, first of all, you have to check the day and the forecast for the day. And also, when you get there, you can see, okay, how are the waves, basically? You're already, even before going into the water, you're checking. When you pick a wave, you want to make sure that there's a lot to it, but the size of the wave, you want to make sure that you can handle that size of wave. You have like the shape of it, you have like how it's breaking, you have like so many different things. And so you need to learn, obviously, how to select your wave, how to catch the wave, how to ride it properly, and how to exit the wave before either it closes on you or it breaks on the beach, and then you end up breaking your board. And so you need to exit the wave at the correct time. And so if we take this analogy to us being projectors, for example, it's really that, like, how can we properly select the sacral waves to ride, making sure that it's neither too little nor too much, making sure that we have the skills to ride that wave, and making sure that we exit that wave before it's too late, before it's too much, because that's the shadow of the sacral, is not knowing when enough is enough, basically. And so that's that, and whether we're talking about being with another generator and riding their sacral wave, for example, or we're talking about substance, whether it's coffee or cacao or other substances, and that can give you a strong sacral wave. How much are you having? Do you know how to handle it? Do you know how to use it? All of that. The transits also sometimes, you can feel in the transit, like, oh, right now it feels like a strong, like, manifesting generator energy, and for this week I just feel like I have a lot of energy and I can make a lot happen, and then I'm just kind of like, again, like, can you use this? Or are you getting, or like, it's full moon, for example. Full moon usually is a big sacral wave for everyone, and there's also an emotional component to it, but it's like, again, can you handle it? Do you know what to do with it? And so on. So it's really about that, and I think eventually this mastery comes with the ability, also in sexuality, like, are we able to handle strong sacral waves from our partners, and our own wave also that we feel inside of us, and I think with mastery over time comes this ability to ride, like, bigger and bigger waves with greater and greater skill and class, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And of course, I think this wave pattern applies to both the defined and undefined type. It's not like the generators are wired 24/7, but they do have a stronger, like, say, electrical system. That's how I like to call it. The non-defined sacrals are softer in that sense, that if you have a very big wave coming at this any time, that wiring can get stressed, can get burned out much quicker than someone that has a defined sacral.
Yeah, and again, like, if in the analogy, like, if we are the surfers, the generators are literally the wave, and that's how they're supposed to live as sacral beings, is to be like water, and to move like water, and to identify with the wave rather than it being something else. Mm-hmm. Yeah.